Welcome, Council, staff, and ladies and gentlemen who join us here. We have a big night tonight, so we will get on to it right away. So would you please rise and join us in singing of O Canada, please? Thank you. Would you please remain standing for a silent moment of reflection, thinking of the residents that are out in BC and the residents that are in on the East Coast, Newfoundland and Cape Breton. All right, thank you. We want to acknowledge that we are on the lands traditionally occupied by the Indigenous people. They continue to care for this land. They continue to shape the town of New Tecumseh, and we want to show our respect. Hundreds of years after their first treaty were signed, they are still relevant today. Thank you. This time, I would like to ask that Carolyn Knowles be brought in. Carolyn. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Strong communities are built with the help of dedicated volunteers to offer their time, energy, and skills for the benefit of others. In New Tecumseh, we have a great history of volunteerism, community involvement. Our residents selfishly give their time every day. One example is our inductee from a 2020 Wall of Honor, Carolyn Knowles. Carolyn has been a long-time member of the Alliston Historical Society and is widely known as an excellent source for historian information about Alliston and New Tecumseh. Carolyn has spent countless hours reviewing microfilm, retrieving important information on people, buildings, and business in New Tecumseh, ensuring that no nugget of information is lost or missed. In fact, I'm told that Carolyn is in the final stages of publishing a book on the history of Alliston. So much information has been collected over the years. There may be a need to be 2 volumes published. Her attention to detail and incredible research skills ensures that this will be a most accurate depiction of Alliston's history to date. Not only is Carolyn a local historian buff, but she has also taken the opportunity to share her knowledge and make presentations to local clubs on different elements of New Tecumseh's history. Just last Wednesday night, Carolyn was our guest speaker at the Alliston Lions Club and did an excellent job. When she is not researching New Tecumseh's history, Carolyn can be found at the museum on the Boyne, where she has also treasured volunteered. And as we know, our volunteers are the heart of our community and demonstrate the ultimate form of public service. Carolyn, on behalf of the council and the residents of New Tecumseh, please accept our warmest and sincere gratitude and appreciation for your support and service. Your actions and dedication efforts are making a lasting and meaningful impact in our town and beyond. Thank you, Carolyn. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, wow.
Carolyn, we'll be presenting this to you in person.
Okay. Thank you.
You've got the floor. I have to cut you down to 7 minutes, so I know that's hard for you.
I'll take less than that. Historically speaking, I'll try to take less than that. Thank you, Mayor Millen, and to all the council members. You know, I've spent a long time. I only regret that the first book, presumably of 2, isn't ready yet. It has been edited, fully edited, all 400 pages. And I got into this renovation that took way longer than I expected, as most do. So I'm hoping to get back at it in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And I'll hopefully have it out by next summer or fall. But past the editing, we still have to go to layout and get all the finishing touches. So I think it's going to take a little while, gather in some photographs, and presumably Carolyn will finally get her book out next year. It's taken a while.
Thanks very much, Carolyn.
Thank you for the award.
You're quite welcome. Thanks again. My second honor tonight is I would like to take this opportunity to welcome Allison Gallant to her new role as Director, Financial Service and Treasurer. We are excited to have Allison take on this new role and to bring her unique talents, expertise, and perspective to the work of organization in order to further our vision of knitting together all the diverse communities in a town that will maintain its small town character and support our rural, urban, and agricultural heritage. Allison has been with the town since 2018, most recently as the Manager of Financial Services. Allison has over 20 years of financial experience. She has worked at the County of Simcoe, the City of Barrie, and large private organizations. She has successfully managed a high-performing team during her career and successfully collaborate with developers, external auditors, and community partners. On behalf of the Council, Allison, I would like to welcome you to your new role, and we look forward with working with you more closely. Thank you. Awards and recognition. Is Allison on?
Yes, I'm here, Mayor Milne. Thank you very
Allison,
much for kind words.
Good. Short and sweet, Allison. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
And we're going to kick you out.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Norcross.
Thank you. We're doing awards and recognitions, Your Worship. I'm sure Councillor Lacey will probably jump in, or Councillor McCullough, but I just want to thank our 2 council reps, Susan Iacucci and Jason Bauer. The great job they did with the BTBIA festival, the lights this Saturday. The mayor and I went down enjoying our 2 fellow councillors there, and an incredible amount of people. And I think it was a great time. So to our council members, to the members of the BIA, to the organizers, on behalf of council, we want to say thank you for all the hard work that you and your committee did to make it extremely successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lacey.
Well, the deputy mayor beat me to the punch.
I just wanted to thank you and Councillor McCullough and your committee. I thought that was appropriate.
Yeah, no, it was a fantastic time had by everybody. We believe we had thousands of people go through. It was a great event, and don't forget this coming Saturday we're in Beaton again, so it's going to be another fun time, and don't forget we see Santa, I guess, as well.
So you're going to steal Councillor McClellan's.
I had to.
Councillor McClellan.
Thank you, Worship. Yep, it was a fantastic event. It was a really cute Christmas festival, and we're going to do it all over again in Beaton in front of the library, and it's going to be awesome.
3 to 6.
Yes,
From
3 to 6 in front of the library. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Foster?
Thank you, Mayor Milne. On the 20th of November, last Saturday, we had the parade up in Alliston, and it was just unbelievable. Never seen crowds like that in all the time that we've been doing it. The Rotary Club did a heck of a job pulling it together, and as usual, the Dan Hayden's folks, Chad Horn's folks, Dan Burton's folks, and Steve Rideout from the OPP. It was all pulled together very quickly, but it was, you could see them behind the Santa Claus float, lifting up the pylons and doing an amazing job. So thanks to everybody, and thanks to all the residents who came out. And just a quick thought for next year is that we do have a wonderful opportunity to have a parade in one town and events in all 3 towns instead of all trying to do all 3 things at the same time. So I just put that out there for consumption. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Foster. Excellent. Councillor Beatty?
Thanks, Your Worship. Before we move on, just a couple of announcements. The Gibson Center is hosting a Christmas luncheon coming up on Friday, December the 17th from 12 to 2:30. You can get your tickets at the Gibson Center. They're $49 each. And for those that have been following Matthew's House's Chase the Ace lottery, it's actually called Embrace the Ace. I raised this because it's starting to get exciting. And the jackpot is now almost $26,000. So get your tickets before midnight. You can go to embracetheace.ca. The draw is tomorrow, and if your name is drawn, you have a 1 in 16 shot at 26,000. So those aren't bad odds at all, and it's all for a great cause as well. So this draw is starting to get exciting. Thanks, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Beatty. Great. Anyone else? Councillor Sainsbury.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just thought it would be nice to thank Jennifer Ranieri and the people from Parks and Recreation who did all the hanging baskets and the summer gardens. And now they've put out that new beautiful decor for Christmas and the holiday season. That's beside the entry signboards coming into town. And that's a new touch. So I just wanted to congratulate them on how festive it looks. Thank you.
I'm sure Director Burton will take that back. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I'll go to the clerk to identify any items to add or delete, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. There are no items to add or delete at this time.
But this look for a mover and seconder be resolved that the agenda for the council meeting held on November 29th, 2021 be confirmed to circulate. Moved by Councillor Jebb, second by Councillor McClellan. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. We have, if you have a pecuniary interest, you can call it now or when the item comes up. Councillor Norcross, or sorry, Richie. Deputy Mayor
Habits die
Norcross.
hard, Your Worship.
I
It's not a
know,
problem.
18 years of doing.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll declare on item 7 and item 8. It's a real estate issue, my vice and agent. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I saw somebody else. Was it Councillor McClellan? Did you have your card up?
I jumped the gun. I thought we were pulling items already.
Okay. Okay, thank you. A motion then mover and seconder be resolved at the minutes of the council meeting and the special council meeting dated November 1st, 2021 be adopted, circulated, and mover Councillor McClellan, Councillor Sainsbury, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. At this time, I'll go to clerk to identify items for separate discussion and the reasons thereof. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. Items requiring separate discussion are as follows. D-1, Robert S. Young, Vice President and Business Manager, South Simcoe Railway, request for funding. D-2, Tracy Walker, Acting SSC Chairperson for 734 Royal Canadian Cadets, request for financial assistance. Item number 6, verbal report of the CAO, re-update on COVID-19. It'll be a verbal report. Item number 7, confidential verbal report of the CAO, sale of 10 and 14 Wellington Street East and 13 Church Street South, Alliston. There's a verbal report, and we also have a pecuniary interest that's been declared. And item number 8, additional information memorandum to item CW42, Committee of the Whole meeting of October 18th, sale of 10 and 14 Wellington Street East and 13 Church Street South, Alliston. Staff require direction, and we also have a pecuniary interest that's been declared. Thank you, Your Worship.
Mr. McClellan.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to pull C2 and C3, please.
Thank you. Councillor Lacey.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to pull item 4, the development charges background study, and item 5, the signed bylaw request variance.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, then go to clerk to identify items for separate discussion. Oh, sorry, to summarize all items identified for separate discussion.
Thank you, Your Worship. Items requiring separate discussion are as follows. C-2, CUPE, SCFP, Ontario Municipal Employees Retirement System, OMERS. There's some correspondence. C-3, Simcoe County Alliance to End Homelessness, Winter Planning in South Simcoe. There's correspondence. D-1, Robert S. Young, Vice President and Business Manager, South Simcoe Railway, refunding request. D-2, Tracy Walker, Acting SSC Chairperson, 734 Royal Canadian Air Cadets, request for financial assistance. Item number 4, Committee of the Whole Public Meeting Development Charges Report dated November 1st, 2021. Development charges, background study and bylaw presentation. Item number 5, sign bylaw request for variance for the property located at 100-140 Mill Street East, Tottenham update. There's a verbal report under item number 6 of this from the CAO on an update on COVID-19. Item number 7 is a confidential verbal report of the CAO and verbal report. And item number 8, additional information memorandum to item CW4, Committee of the Whole meeting of October 18th regarding the sale of 10 and 14 Wellington Street East and 13 Church Street South. There's some direction required. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mover and seconder, but the resolve that the items on the Committee of the Whole meeting report, the Committee of the Whole public meeting report dated November 1st, 2021, and the Committee of the Whole Planning Public Meeting Report dated November 3rd, 2021, including additional information memorandums, with the exceptions of those items identified for separate discussion, be approved and the recommendation therein be adopted. And further that the communication items and any other items listed on the council meeting agenda dated November 29, 2021, with the exceptions of those items identified for separate discussion, be received and adopted. Mover and seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Foster, seconded by Councillor Jebb. All in favor? Opposed? Anything? Motion is carried. And the first item is C2 and Councillor McClellan.
Thank you, Your Worship. In reading the report, I would like to move a motion that the motion would be the proposed motion within the report. I think it's on page 21 of our council agenda, and it has three separate points in it. I think it's important that we investigate, provided because of the information that we were provided.
And a seconder. Councillor Harrison McIntyre, seconds. Questions? Councillor Sainsbury.
You're on mute, Councillor Sainsbury.
I apologize, Your Worship. Is there any cost that would be referred back if this goes into any kind of arbitration, or is it like it's quite in depth what they're asking to do, and I'm not too sure who's paying for it. CUPE?
Got,
Is CUPE paying?
but no, there's no cost.
No cost at all. Thank you.
Okay, question, Councillor Foster?
It was just, in reading that report, it was just, we're joining in, it refers to here, new to council will join our call for an independent expert review of OMERS. And I believe that Councilor McClellan said we will investigate. So that's what you're referring to, correct, Councilor McClellan, that we just support the motion that a expert review is done for OMERS? That's what.
Yes, sorry, I didn't mean we
No,
as
no
a new
problem.
concept, but yep,
Just
no,
wanted to clarify.
exactly. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no more question, I'll call the motion. Councillor Sainsbury.
Yeah, just one point of clarification. I think the only people in New Tecumseh that are members of CUPE are on the library board. They have several members of the library staff, but I think they're the only ones that are part of a local 905. I'm talking about the CUPE part, not the OMERS part. It's
Okay.
CUPE that's
Okay,
initiated.
CUPE. Yeah, you split
Yeah,
it. Okay, any other
so that's
questions?
correct. Thanks.
All in favor? Carried, opposed, if any? Thank you, motion's carried. Next one is C3, Councillors McClellan.
Thank you, Worship. I would like to put a motion on the floor that we turn what we typically have as cooling centers in the summer and revert them to warming centers in the winter.
The seconder. Deputy Mayor, questions? Deputy Mayor.
Thanks, Your Worship. It's a great initiative and I strongly support it. I know it'll go to Director Burton. My only concern is that I want to make sure we have these warming centers that are walkable, so that people can walk to them and get to them in a short distance, and vehicles aren't provided to have people gain access, or they're a long distance to travel for. I just wanted to share that, Your Worship, but proud to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Jebb.
Thank you, Worship. Question was that the cooling centers, I believe in the summertime, they also include the arenas, but they're specifically just talking about the libraries for the winter, the warming centers. Okay.
Councillor Sainsbury.
I just want a clarification on that because the other buildings that are not occupied as much in summer as they are in winter.
Okay.
So I just wanted to be sure that staff are able to handle what it is that we're agreeing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry if I'm moving us along tonight, but we have a long agenda. So if I cut you off, please don't take it personally. Councillor Noy.
Thank you, Worship. Just a question there. There's no lodging overnight in these warming centers. Is that right?
No, there
Okay.
isn't.
Thank you.
Okay. Has everyone had their chance? Everybody in favor of the motion? Motion's carried. Thank you. Next is, I'll go to, we'll bring Mr. Young in, please.
Through your worship, Mr. Young was having issues connecting to our video or to our meeting tonight. So I'm not sure if he will be attending.
Okay, could we bring Tracy Walker in?
Keep us on earlier.
Okay. Tracy, if you can turn your camera and mic on, that would be great. Thank you.
Good evening, Tracy. Welcome.
Evening.
Okay, you've got 7 minutes to tell us what you need.
Thank you very much, Mayor and the Town Council, for letting me speak on behalf of 734 Royal Canadian Air Cadets. I've come to you tonight with a little brief synopsis of the cadet program. We are a premier world-class youth organization that specializes in aviation and aerospace. We find innovative ways with the Department of Defense to help the youth make a difference in the community. We specialize in leadership, self-confidence, self-esteem. Most of our cadets will leave with a skill set that lasts a lifetime. I think Mrs. Kane's got a presentation for it that she can put up for you guys to see.
Thank you. Deputy Clerk.
Maybe. Until she gets that, I'll continue. Branch branch 171 in Alliston has, we're on the second slide, has been a sponsor of the Royal Canadian Air Cadets for many years. We're on our 58th year as citizens and cadets. It's on 58 years of being in Alliston, and the youth have done community cleanup days, cemetery garbage sweeps, gate control, volunteered at the Potato Festival. We've supported the Legion with poppying, with Remembrance Day dinners, Remembrance Day vigils, hospital fundraisers, and the Tottenham Santa Claus Parade. If you go to the third slide, please. So Branch 171 is still a sponsor for us, but we are outgrowing the Legion with the many kids that are joining. And we are in financial distress right now, and we are going to be losing a place where we can parade. Because of COVID restrictions and the amount of space that we need, the Legion can no longer keep us there indefinitely. We were at the school and we had different places like that, but again, with COVID, we're losing our space. So we're requesting some help with finding a place for us to call our own, giving us a space for storage, some office space, somewhere for the kids to be able to have something that is more stable. We can put out our uniforms, we can put out our trophies and have somewhere that we're not going to lose if the school has to close down or the school has other things to do. We understand that places in Alliston are very few and far between. We have some ideas on help, but it all costs money that we don't have. It's our must-haves is an indoor parade space and a secure storage for our files and our items that belong to the squadron, which we don't currently have. We have a small shed and we currently have some stuff in the basement of the community hall, but we don't have access to it. And it's not secure for, cadet files and other items that we have. One of our former cadets is a pilot with the Canadian Force of Snowbirds, and he asked if I would read a little excerpt from his letter for you guys tonight. It says 734 Air Cadet Squadron's ability to inspire cadets to pursue their passions and guide them towards passions they may not have considered before, like myself, is a key contribution that the squadron has for the community. It produces cadets that rely on teamwork, hone their skills, demonstrate professionalism and discipline, and dedicate themselves and others to the pursuit of excellence. I truly believe that I would not be where I am today had it not been for 734 Air Cadet Squadron, as well as the wonderful staff and cadets that make it a whole. For this reason, I believe and I hope that the town of New Tecumseh should continue to show its support for the squadron and do everything in its power to ensure the continued success in developing model Canadian citizens. Thank you for reading this. If you go to the last slide, there is a couple of excerpts from letters from our current cadets that they wanted you guys to see how much the squadron means to them and how much we really do need your help. That would be the last slide before the questions page. There we go. This is from our current flight sergeant. Cadets really has been a way for me to develop as a person and reach for and achieve aspirations and goals as it can be for every person. From weekly cadet nights, I have learned many things, such as how to be a better leader, how to be involved in the community, and currently working through processes to get my private pilot's license. These lessons have helped me through school, and I'm also getting to fulfill my dream. Our flight sergeant, Isabel Farrar, cadets has allowed me to become the best version of myself. Before I knew about the cadets, people that I can't see the other part there that we did with school and sports. Although I excelled in school, I was never the athletic type. Cadets showed me that there are other things that you can be proud of. Cadets have shown me how to be encouraged myself no matter what. In the past 4 years, I have gained many friendships, have been able to make it through the pandemic. Words cannot express how grateful I am to the program and but Alliston 734 Squadron as a whole. Personally, myself, my kids are in the program. It is one of the best programs that I've ever been part of. From the day one, I was hooked and I've been helping for the last 6 years. I believe that the cadets is an important part of the community, and I'm very much hoping that you guys will be able to help us in giving the cadets something to look forward to. We are at 60 years coming, and we hope that we can have somewhere to call home. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy, and we all know Mr. Stone, who went through and became a legend in the Knights, and he went through the Air Cadets. And I'm very happy to say I was in the first class of the Air Cadets when it was formed in Alliston, so it has a real soft spot in my heart too. I'll go to Councillor Lacey and then Councillor Noah.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a few questions for Ms. Walker. Have you reached out to some of the other cadet programs within New Tecumseh to see if they may have some room, and what are they doing sort of in the same situation?
I believe at this time we're all in a little bit of a predicament with COVID. I haven't reached out to anybody in the area because one is Army, I believe, and 164 in Shelburne, where I also have a soft spot because my kids are in it. We are pretty much at capacity as well. It's difficult to find a spot. I've been looking since I've helped 734.
So one of the questions, I'm familiar with the 329 here in Tottenham, and I know they have a space where they kind of store a lot of their material. I don't know if they have any extra room or anything like that. They might be able to help you out with that. The other question I have is probably for Director Burton. And would we be able to open up maybe some of our gym spaces in our recreational centers or something like that to help with the cadets in their parade space and allowing something in that aspect?
Director Burton.
Through you, Mayor Milne, to Councillor Lacey. Staff have been in conversations with Ms. Walker, I believe, or somebody from the 734 to discuss and understand the needs of the cadets in terms of parade space. I believe they have discussed some alternatives, mainly the upstairs hall at the AMA being sufficient to provide adequate space for parade room. I think part of the ask or discussion here would be in relation to costs associated with the fees that would be charged for those rentals. So I think that's all part of the conversation here tonight.
We're sorry, Your Worship.
Go ahead.
I believe we're just talking, hopefully, with the COVID, it's more of a temporary aspect until things hopefully ease up on the COVID aspect, as opposed to maybe a permanent. Or are you looking for a permanent space going forward, Ms. Walker?
We are trying to find a more permanent position.
Okay, a more permanent. Okay.
I've given some ideas for maybe a sea container for storage, or but again, it's finding a spot and it's the cost associated. And right now, we pretty much don't have the capabilities of procuring anything at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Tracy. Councillor Noah, and then Councillor Foster and Councillor Sainsbury.
Thank you, Worship. Thanks, Tracy, for your presentation. It's a very valuable organization that you're doing with the young kids. My question is, does the Department of National Defense, say like Borden, do they give any monies, or do they supply anything towards your organization? It's just a question. Or are you self-funded by yourself?
No, the Department of Defense will give us something, but we cannot have them give us everything. They will give us a portion back if we can, but what they give us back does not cover everything. So for the most part, the SSC that I chair for, our job is to fundraise for any and all costs above what D&D provides.
Yes, but Councillor Noah has also asked, will they provide place, location for you to practice and march and that in Borden?
As far as I've been told, there are some cadets programs there. It's in the works, but again, everything's up in the air.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, this COVID's driven everything. Councillor Foster.
Thank you, Mayor Milne. I was happy to hear that Director Burton has already had some discussions with Ms. Walker, and I think that certainly gives me some hope that there's some potential. So I would certainly put forth a motion, if required, that she continued to work with Director Burton, and then Director Burton come back with a simple report to council on what some potentials are, and then we can actually deal with the facts. That would be my suggestion, as well as he'll be able to have an understanding of what Borden can do, and then once we have all the facts, we can make a determination if there's any ability to help.
You second that, Councillor Beatty? I saw your card go up there.
I do. I think that we owe it to our community and to the cadets to take a look at doing what we can to keep them going. Every dime that you invest in these young women and men is worth $1 or more back in the community for all of the work that they do in so many ways. Happy to second it. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you. Councillor Sainsbury?
Thank you, Your Worship. We have, what number of cadets do you have? What is your overall club number?
I
Is
believe
50 or
we have 44 cadets on strength.
44? And have you checked with any of the church halls, like on King Street or the United Church here in Main Street, Alliston, and the different churches? Because some of them are sitting empty. I'm not sure what they're doing with the one in Cookstown even.
I have checked some, and they are some of them are a little small.
Okay.
And once again, you're running up against COVID. A lot of churches are not letting. Councillor Lacey.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would actually appreciate it if Director Burton could possibly reach out to the other cadet programs, just to see if what they might be doing in this situation, or if they need assistance. I know some of them were using the schools, and the schools aren't allowing places. Like Councillor Sainsbury said, some of the churches. So it's a bit of a toss-up for everybody. And this is a fabulous program for all of our kids. I'd like to see as many kids in this as possible and keep continuing. So,
Any other questions before I have the clerk read the motion? Madam Clerk, motion, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the motion would be to direct staff to continue to work with the 734 Royal Canadian Air Cadets and report back to council with options for a permanent facility moving forward.
Also with the Army cadets in Tottenham. I believe that's what Councillor Lacey wanted.
Thank you, Your Worship.
So we'll put the Air Force and the Army together. Would that work, Tracy?
Probably would, but I believe that they're in the same boat as us, and they're small too. So
I'm sure they are. Thank you very much. Oh, I better ask, all in favor of the motion? Motion's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy, for your presentation. You'll hear from Mr. Burke.
thank you very much for the opportunity. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good. Thanks, Tracy. Is Mr. Young there, Bart? Okay. The next item is PM1, Councillor Lacey.
Which item is this one now, Your Worship?
Development charges, background.
Oh, PM. Sorry, I'm going to withdraw that one. It's actually on the committee of the whole I wanted to pull, not the council meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then,
apologize for that.
Nope, no problem. You've been up next on 5, the signed bylaw request.
Yes, okay. This signed bylaw request for the I guess it's the No Frills Plaza here on Mill Street in Tottenham. I do have some concerns about that. One of them is the lighting. This is a residential area, and that's an extremely large sign that would be all backlit and lit up. I hate to say it, I have Griswold visions in my mind when this thing is erected. I'm just trying to go with the season of this, shining in somebody's, front window and in their bedrooms at night as it goes through. what I would like to propose is that this goes back to staff and they look at a couple of things. One, I believe it's called the photometric plan, which talks about the lighting within the site plan. So what we would like to do is get that updated with this sign in place. Also, as if all of the businesses had backlit signs in there as well. So all of the businesses will be potentially putting up signs. We've got the street lights in there and then this large sign itself. And if the builder would also look at what reduction in size they could actually make. So the way that I read the report, we allow, I believe it's 13 square meters, and they're looking for somewhere in the 57 square meter aspect. It's a very large difference from our bylaw to what they're requesting.
Is there a seconder? Deputy Mayor Norcross, second it?
Yeah, well, I'd make a comment if you'd allow me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll certainly second that, because my understanding was when the photometrics were done, I'm sure they were done with the streetlights. They were probably done to the size of the bylaw that permits the size of the sign at the time. So if they're going to dramatically increase the size of the sign, I think you're right, Councillor Lacey, the photometrics should be updated to reflect the request that they're putting forward now before the council. So, Your Worship, yeah, I'll gladly second that. I think that's worthwhile information. Thank you.
I'll go to the clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. So just for clarification, council's requesting a deferral pending a photometric plan updated to take into consideration the sign that's being proposed, as well as to see if the owners can reduce the sign size that they have proposed for the property at 140 Mill Street East.
Councillor Harrison McIntyre.
Thank you, Your Worship. Later on in the evening, there's another sign that's coming forward, and in this one, they talk about, it says each display is equipped with light sensors that dim the sign to appropriate day and night settings, as well as safe modes to ensure that display never exceeds appropriate light output levels. So there's some technology out there that might also assist with reducing. So I would, again, if we could add that onto your motion, Councillor Lacey, that staff work with the proponent to see if they can integrate that kind of design into
that would be perfect. Thank you, Councillor Harrison McIntyre.
The other Councillor Sainsbury.
Thank you, Your Worship. So through you to the clerk, this would come back to council because it's on the council agenda. We'll defer it to the next council meeting, not the committee, and then go through the whole process again, just from council to council. Is that correct?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through His Worship to Councillor Sainsbury. Certainly, with council's permission, we can bring this directly back to council. Now, dependent on the response from the applicant, it may be to the next meeting or the meeting after. It's just all a matter of timing with the council meeting agendas. But there will be a report back to council.
As long as they have an order to sign, that's my concern, because it'll be into the new year.
I'm going to call the motion. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Motion's carried. I see we got Mr. Young now back, Deputy Clerk.
Hello.
Hi, Bob. Just hang on for a second. Okay. Welcome, Bob.
I'm sorry for the mix-up, but I didn't see any site plan on my email. It just came up just now.
Okay, you're on.
Your Worship, Council, I'm glad to be able to talk to you. My name is Bob Young. I'm Vice President of the South Simcoe Railway. I lived in Tottenham for 33 years, and for the last 20 years, I've lived in Greenbrier. The pandemic has been very devastating for South Simcoe Railway. It has really cut down on our revenue stream to almost nothing. We managed to run the fall colors on reduced government restrictions, All other excursions plus our famous Santa train is canceled. Total ridership now since 1992 is in the order of 850,000 people. And I like to remind council that unlike other grantees, most of our money is new money coming from outside New Tecumseh. Some of the people have been here for the first time. Others have bought homes after riding the train. Just like to give you an example of some of our unusual expenses. A railway tie costs about $100. They're spaced about 18 inches apart. There's about 3,500 of them per mile. We have 5 miles. So 3,500 times 100 per mile is about $350,000. We don't have to replace all those at the same time, fortunately, but some of those ties now are over 40 years old. So this is really an ongoing service requirement, and we're dictated to by Transport Canada. And if we don't maintain certain standards, we just don't run. And on top of that, we have our regular expenses like everybody else does, our hydro, phone, whatever. And one of the big things for us is we have a very energetic group of volunteer people. With our president, Eric Smith, this small group of volunteers really keeps the railway running. I believe you have a letter in front of you from our president, Eric Smith, dated 24th November, regarding some of our needs. Thank you very much for letting me address you.
Questions from council to Mr. Young? Councillor Sainsbury.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Mr. Young. So you're requesting the funding from the normal arts, culture, and tourism section of the budget. That's where it's always come from in the past. So I assume that's where the request would go. And the second thing I wanted to ask you was, how much have your insurance rates increased? Has it been a big hit or not too bad? Because it hasn't been running. Maybe you got a bit of a break.
Well, fortunately, they backed off on the insurance a bit since we weren't running. So therefore, our liability is not quite as great. As soon as we start running, they'll be right back up again, likely higher than they were before. There's almost nobody in the insurance business in that line of work anymore. I think it was 38. We were up to 55,000. I think they last year they put it down to 38. But if we start running again, it'll be right back up again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go to with Deputy Mayor Norcross, Councillor Lacey, and Councillor Harrison McIntyre. Deputy Mayor.
Thanks, Your Worship. I was just to make a motion that we defer the request of the grants and donation part of the budget that we'll be developing into, I believe, Wednesday at 8:30 or 9 o'clock. So that would be my motion, Your Worship, to pass the request forward to the working session. Thank you.
Second that, Councillor Sainsbury.
Yeah, thank you. I'll second.
Councillor Lacey.
I was just going to ask for the same thing. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Harrison McIntyre.
The letter that you refer to, Mr. Young, it says that the money is to support, I think it says Dynamic Museum for the railway. Is that correct?
What was that again? I'm a little hard of hearing.
Oh, sorry. The letter that you're referring to, I think it's just a one paragraph that says that the money is for a dynamic museum.
Yes, well, if push comes to shove, we would go to a static museum more or less. But fortunately we're able to run as a dynamic museum. The one unfortunate thing about museums in Canada, Canadians don't seem to appreciate their past as much as other people. And we're going to try and keep working away at that. approach Simcoe County and see what they can do.
Okay, so by dynamic museum, I think I'm just catching up here. By dynamic museum, you mean the railway? Okay, I thought it was something else. Okay, I get it. I'm on board now.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll go to the clerk if she captured what the request was.
Thank you, Your Worship. So, so this was an easy one. So this is just to refer this presentation and the request for funding to the budget working session, December 1st, 2021. So that's Wednesday.
Everyone's heard the motion. All in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you very much, Bob. Nice seeing you again.
Thank you.
Okay, I just got a bit of housekeeping to do here. Item PM1 was pulled even though we didn't act on it. So moved by Councillor Lacey, second by the Deputy Mayor, be resolved that the presentation to Mr. Craig Benning, Partners, Henderson Consultant to be received, and further that the deputation of Randy Grimes and John, whatever his last name, be received, and further that the oral and written submissions from the development community and the members of the public be received, and further that any revisions to the background study or bylaw directed by council at this meeting arise from ongoing stakeholders, consultants be incorporated into the document, and further that the input referred to staff and Henson's consultant be considered and reviewed, and further that a report responding to any of the issues raised be brought forward to November 29th, 2021 Committee of the Whole meeting for consideration. Any questions? All in favor? Thanks, everyone. Can't get anything past this clerk. And I believe the next 3, 6, 7, and 8, Councillor Deputy Mayor Norcross has a conflict. Not 6. Oh, you're staying in for 6. Okay. I'll go to the CEO for 6.
Thank you, Mayor Mellon. Good evening. And as much as what Deputy Mayor Norcross may wish to get away from my droning on about the unfortunate struggles that we have with COVID. So good evening, members of council. I'll ask you to bear with me for a few moments. There's been a lot of things transpire over the last couple of weeks, so my update this evening is fairly lengthy. So I'll try to work through the issues as quickly as I can. So as we all continue to do our part to reduce the spread of COVID-19, it's important that we remain diligent in all our efforts. We are continuing to work closely with our partners at the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit, and in recent weeks, our Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Charles Gardner, has expressed significant concern with an increase in positive COVID-19 cases and an increase in transmission throughout our area. The Simcoe Muskoka area is currently experiencing new infections at a rate many times greater than even in the Toronto area. Given increases in community transmission in an effort to further reduce the risk of transmission, Dr. Gardner, in consultation with the Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, has implemented further restrictions under the Reopening Ontario Act. Dr. Gardner has issued amended letters of instruction as well as an order. Of those updated requirements when it comes to impacts to town operations, the health unit has now made it a requirement for all youth aged 12 years of age or older who attend our recreation facilities for the purpose of attending or being involved in indoor organized sports and or indoor recreational fitness activities, coaching, teaching, instructing, officiating at organized sports or volunteering in any capacity for any purpose must provide at the point of entry identification and proof of being fully vaccinated against COVID-19 or valid medical exemptions. While the health unit has put dates in place for that age group to visit recreation facilities that are not already requiring full vaccination for those aged 12 and over to participate in sport, if council recalls, the town of New Tecumseh had already implemented our own policy that the health unit's directions now align with, and our policy has been in place now for a few weeks. So our current requirement is that all individuals aged 12 and up participating in sport and or attending our recreation centers are required to be fully vaccinated now to enter our facilities, and we will be continuing with that direction. In regards to the order that Dr. Gardner has issued in an effort to reduce transmission of COVID-19 that is unfortunately being seen in our youth in many schools, the health unit has revised their self-isolation order. When a youth is identified as a high-risk contact and required to isolate, any unvaccinated siblings of the high-risk contact must also self-isolate. For adults in the same household who are not fully vaccinated, it is recommended that they stay home as well, except for essential reasons, if they themselves are not close contacts and there are no COVID-19 cases in the household. Stevenson Memorial Hospital is once again expanding its COVID-19 assessment center hours to include the first 3 Thursdays in December. They will be open Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And Stevenson has a same-day appointment booking system for those requiring a COVID-19 test, and details can be found on the hospital's website. We continue to work with our local healthcare professionals and the health unit to bring walk-in vaccination clinics to New Tecumseth. You will see on the council agenda tonight bylaw 2021-161 to allow the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit to use parts of the Alliston Memorial Arena for their current round of immunization clinics. These vaccination clinics allow for walk-ins for first and second doses for anyone turning 12 years of age in 2021, which were born in 2009 or older. Appointments can be booked for ages 5 to 11 through the provincial booking system. There are no walk-ins for this age group. Those eligible for their third or booster dose are asked to book through their healthcare provider or pharmacy, and vaccination clinic dates and times can be found on the Simcoe Muskoka District Health Unit's website. All health restrictions will remain in place in the town of New Tecumseth buildings, including contract tracing and active screening of all members of the public entering any of our buildings and facilities. Should council decide to meet in person in the new year, we do have a plan in place that Mayor participated in a dry run the other day that we believe will allow us to accommodate council meeting in one room while still being able to follow all COVID-19 safety protocols. That plan includes rearranging the council chambers to allow greater space between council members. Only council members and required staff members would be able to attend in the same space. Others would join remotely as required. And while council would be meeting in the same space, the meetings would still be conducted using the Zoom technology. Members of the public would continue to be able to watch our meetings live streamed on our YouTube channel. It would be my recommendation, however, that the earliest we look at potentially meeting in person would be the first meeting in February, given what we're witnessing in our area at this present time. We have clearly been shown that we are not clear of the impacts of COVID-19, and while we're all hopeful that the light at the end of the pandemic tunnel is within reach, it is vital that we continue to always follow all COVID-19 health protocols to keep ourselves, our families, and our community safe. We're requesting that our community to please be diligent in following all protocols, including wearing masks, maintaining physical distancing, following all directional signage and arrows for maneuvering throughout our buildings, as well as using specific doors for entering and leaving and specific stairs for ascending and descending, washing and or sanitizing your hands often, and completing our daily screening requirements. And in closing, we continue to encourage our residents to use technology and online options wherever possible. And please check the town's website and follow our social media channels for accurate information and updates. And with that, Mayor Milne, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions of members of council.
Okay. Questions to the CAO? Okay. Looking for a mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor and Councillor Jeb, be resolved that the verbal report of a CAO be received. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. This time, Deputy Mayor Norcross, you're going to leave us. We have a motion to go into closed session. That the council convenes in closed session. At what time, Councillor Jeb?
7:59, Your Worship.
To discuss confidential verbal report of a CIO resale 10 and 14 Wellington Street East and 13 Church Street South in Allison, as per the Municipal Act of Section 239(2)C, proposed or pending acquisitions or dispositions of land by the municipality or local board. Moved by Councillor Noel, second by Councillor Beatty. All in favor?